Hello, everyone. I would like to share something today with you from the Holy Spirit of God. Now, when the Holy Spirit revealed that to me about that hologram, I got a little panicky. I ain't going to lie to y'all because I know this deception is coming, and I kept telling the Holy Spirit, how are we going to know the difference? And the Holy Spirit was telling me, he said in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3, let no man deceive you by any means. That day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and then that man of sin shall be revealed. 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1 said, the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the later times some shall depart from the faith. And we are seeing that today. We are seeing many people leaving God. Even I even know a few people that because God did not heal certain members of their family, they didn't believe there was a God. That people leave God for many reasons because they don't believe. I look at it like this. If you believe in God and you start coming to God, and because you don't see him working any miracles in your life, you're going to stop serving him. I didn't start serving God for what I could get from him. I started serving him because he's God, and he is my God, and he created me. I love God no matter what. He doesn't have to give me anything or perform any miracles or any signs or any wonders for me. I believe him because he is God. And I've been hearing his voice since I was 8 years old. And the Holy Spirit was saying that Timothy tells you that they will be given heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. They're going to be led away by false prophets. It says they'll be speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience sheared with a hot iron. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15, that false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are wolves. Jeremiah chapter 15 and verse 16. We see that God's going to feed the prophets of those lying prophets that are coming in like sheep but are really wolves. He's going to feed them wormwood. And in the book of Revelations chapter 12 and 4, we see that the dragon is a prophet, and the dragon is Egypt. Ezekiel chapter 29 and verse 3. So apparently Egypt's going to be coming up with those holograms also. We see in Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 14, it says, the prophet that teaches lies is the tail. Isn't that how the devil, the dragon, drew the third part of the stars in heaven with his tail? So he went up into heaven and prophesied lies to those that were in the heavens. And we see that in the book of Revelations 12 and 9, the devil is the dragon. Now he's coming with blind signs and wonders. This is how he will deceive the world, is through technology. They'll be able to talk to your mind. And I asked the Holy Spirit, I said, if they're able to talk to our mind, how am I going to be able to know your voice from their voice? And the Holy Spirit said, you know my voice and you know me. You've been hearing me since you was 8 years old, so you know me. And he's right. I do know his voice. That's one thing I can say. I don't care if another voice came sounding like him. I know him the same way I know Preston. I know the things that Preston would say and what he would do because I know Preston. So if another voice came to me sounding like Preston and it was saying a bunch of stuff that I knew that Preston would never say, then I'd know it's not Preston. That's the same way with the voice of the Holy Spirit. Even if I heard another voice that sounded just like him, I know the things that he would say. And one thing he's made clear to me, that he will never give me a time or a date. So I know that if I ever hear another voice that gives me dates and times, I know it is not the Holy Spirit, because he promised me he would never give me a date nor a time. And I asked the Holy Spirit, is the beast, because I tell you what, church, when I started hearing these things from the Holy Spirit, I started asking him some questions. Now, if you can't ask your best friend some stuff, something's wrong. Now, he's my best friend. I know I can ask him anything, and I ask him. I said, now I need to know, Lord. Now, if something's coming, I need to know. And I need to warn the church and to warn the people on the earth. And the Holy Spirit said, the beast is real. He is not a hologram. He is indeed a real being. And they will rebuild the temple. And the Holy Spirit says that in the Dome of the Rock, underneath there, where the temple of God once sat, he said they are passageways. They when the priest heard the prophecies of Jesus Christ from the disciples that that temple would be destroyed, he said those priests took the things of that temple and hid them, the things of God, and hid them in those passageways. And the Holy Spirit says that they will find those things. And he said, and the beast will have the temple rebuilt. The temple will be rebuilt, church, I believe before the beast even gets here. That temple will be rebuilt, and they will find the things that was hidden in those passageways and put them in that temple. I asked the Holy Spirit, how are we going to know the return of the beast from your return? He said, first of all, the beast will return first. His coming is first. Now remember, when Jesus takes the church out of here, when we ascend up into heaven, there's no signs for that church. So that's not a coming for Jesus. That's not him returning. That's just the church being caught out of here. Now, the Holy Spirit said that the beast coming down from heaven, that when Revelations 8, oh, Tinkerbell, don't start barking. I hope she don't start barking, church. If she does, don't pay any attention to her. The Holy Spirit said in Revelations 8 and 10, a star fell from heaven, coming like it is a lamp. He said this is where the hologram will begin. He said it is the dragon that causes this hologram to deceive the world that salvation, that he that is on the white horse, that has the bow but doesn't have the arrows, will enter into the world. He is showing him coming as salvation. In church, the Holy Spirit said that illusion that the world's going to see will look like the return of Christ, with even his angels in the clouds and those witnesses returning. And he said, but that is a hologram. He said a hologram is not real. You cannot touch the hologram. And I said to the Holy Spirit, well, wait a minute. Doesn't Revelation 22 that we see in your city, that even your streets are transparent glass? Is your city a hologram? Is it just an image? He said, no, my city is real. My city can be touched. You can touch my city. It is a physical place. He said, in my kingdom, when you see transparent glass, that is showing you that the Spirit of God is joined with the physical. That is showing them uniting together as one. He said, but the beast is only an illusion. His is only an image, because he cannot. Listen, church, if he's going to come and deceive the world that he's salvation and he has all the holy angels with him and he raised the dead, even that dead's going to be an illusion. These are all illusions. Now, there's something that I want you to see in Revelations 8 and 11. We see before that the star that fell as it was salvation. That is the hologram. Revelations 8 and 11 says they're going to drink wormwood. We see Jeremiah 23 and 15. It is the prophets, and we know they are the prophets that are lies. Now, if a prophet's going to prophesy, he's got to have some signs and wonders, church, and we see that's coming in Revelations 12, verse 3 and 4. We see the dragon with his tail, which he is a prophet. You'll see the tail, the prophet that teaches lies, in Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 15. Now, here we go, church. This is what I want you to look at, that the Holy Spirit gave to me. He said, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9 tells you clearly. Yeah, it tells us clearly, but we didn't have that revelation, did we, church? That he was a hologram. I mean, the things that he's coming with is a hologram, and that even the return is a hologram, because the beast ascends out of the pit, church. He don't come down from heaven. He is a fallen star that fell many, many years ago. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 9. Watch what it says, church. Who's coming? So see, his coming is a lie. Is after the working of Satan with all lying signs and wonders. There you go. He already told us, but we didn't put 2 and 2 together and get 4, did we, church? Because we didn't know what that revelation was until the Holy Spirit revealed it to me. He said that is going with Revelations 8 and 10. The star fell many years ago. He is in the bottomless pit. So he's got to have a hologram, and the dragon is going to be leading that deception that the Messiah is coming, that God is coming. And how he's going to do that is through a hologram, that none of that is real, the Holy Spirit said. The Holy Spirit said, as a matter of fact, You'll see in the book of Revelations chapter 11 and 3, the two witnesses have 3.5 years to prophesy. But we see the temple is built. And we see that the holy city, not the temple, but the holy city is given into the Gentiles. Not the temple, but the holy city. The Holy Spirit said, watch Revelations 11 and 3, Donna. It says they'll prophesy for 3.5 years. Revelations 11 and 7 says their testimony is finished. That's when the beast ascends out of the pit. Revelations 11 and 7. The Holy Spirit said in the first 3.5 years, the beast is not here. He is only here for the last 3.5 years. That's why, but the devil laid a foundation before that church. He had some holograms deceiving the world that the Messiah came, that God came down from heaven with his saints, and he came down, and he's on a white horse, and he has a bow, and he's a man of peace. See, he was laying the foundation for that beast that's coming up into the world to gain control of the world. And we see that he will come at the last 3.5 years, because we see the two witnesses are prophesying for the first 3.5 years. So the last 3.5 years is the Great Tribulation. And the reason why it is the Great Tribulation is because the beast is here right along with God pouring out his wrath. So I hope and pray that I was able to help you with this, and my time is a ticking, so I'll try to make part 2 to finish.